Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Home Studio Simplified channel. Today we're going to be interviewing Kagun of Kreative Devices. If you have not checked out the recent video that we've had where I just did my mobile guitar rig, one of the key elements of this mobile guitar rig, gotcha. Thank you, DJ, for piping in on that. But when I did this video about the mobile guitar rig, this is obviously one of the key elements of that mobile guitar rig is the laptop. And I had like all kinds of crazy amount of comments coming in on the video, like, tell us more about the laptop. So I thought rather than me try to give you what little bit of info that I know about it based off of just the specs on the website and whatnot, I thought it'd be awesome just to bring on Kagun himself so that he could actually talk about his brand and answer any questions that you guys might have, as well as some questions that I have here for you as well. So before we get into that, remember that if you are new here, this channel is all about simplifying the complexities of the home studio and helping you create professional sounding music in a less than professional space. The motto around here is that we can dream alone, we can even create alone, but together we can achieve so much more. And before we get into today's Skype call, let's give a quick shout out to a channel sponsor, longtime friend of ours, Warren Hewitt from the 𝗏𝗏 Academy. Today's video is sponsored in part by the 𝗏𝗏 Academy. The 𝗏𝗏 Academy offers affordable courses from mentors, world-class engineers, Grammy winners, and multi-platinum selling producers. And with the resources available on the 𝗏𝗏 Academy, you can learn how to create radio-ready mixes from the comfort of your own home studio. Most of the courses also offer multi-tracks that you can then add to your portfolio and begin to build out your business. Follow the link in the description of this video to head on over to the 𝗏𝗏 Academy today and start learning the skills that are needed to take your hobby or your business to the next level. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Kagun. So Kagun, thank you so much for hopping on here and helping to clear up any questions that we might have about your brand, Kreative Devices. First and foremost, I've got to say I've owned the laptop now for quite some time. I've been able to put it through its paces. Dude, this thing is a powerhouse, and not just like in specs and quality, but I mean, it's built like a tank too. So if you could just like, let's kind of, first off, let's just introduce you and kind of what you're sort of like, what's the motto of your brand? What are you sort of seeking to obtain by starting this brand?
Well, first of all, thank you, Robert, for having me on. I've been watching your channel for quite some time.
Awesome.
Kreative Devices was literally created by trying to help people. I've been basically building computers, desktops for years, and everyone moved to laptops. They're more convenient. You know, you're not stuck in one location. You can have your same exact setup and take it anywhere in the world with you. And I know because I've done this, I've had to travel and go record here and do this. And, you know, it's just more convenient. And I figured there has to be a better way to have your same setup like you would at home or your studio with your computer, your maybe multiple monitor setup, pack it in a bag and take it anywhere you want. There has to be a way. And laptops and external displays were the only option. So after digging and trying to help other people to solve this issue, and, you know, it obviously costing a lot of money,
yeah,
I was fortunate enough to be able to sit down with some people who understood what I was trying to do, and they were willing to help. And here we are today. Kreative Devices was born.
That's awesome, man. And for those of you who have not checked out his website yet, they're actually, one of our moderators, DJ Big Red 81, has actually just posted in the chat a link directly to his website if you want to go and check out everything that he has to offer. As of right now, can you sort of tell us like what products you do have there on the website?
So right now you're going to see two 16 inches and a 14 that's coming soon. We had a 14, but apparently, you know, there was some sort of issue with the supplier. It happens. There's no way around it. It's nature of the business. But we do have a new supplier, so we will have a new 14 coming out soon. And the 16s that are available currently, one has integrated graphics, which can handle up to 4K video, And the other is the one that you have, which is the Pro G, that can handle 6K, 8K, 3D rendering, gaming. You know, we didn't design it for gaming, but it's cool that it can game, right?
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure that everyone could have a device that could handle anything you throw at it. Myself, I'm into music, you're into music, we get it. And video as well, because we're on a video call, right? So I wanted to make sure all creators had something that they could use. Just like our external displays, some of them are touchscreen, some of them are not, depends on what you need, what you want. But the main thing was to make sure that people had powerful enough processors, because what separates a creative level device from a normal computing device is several things, but the processor is the main thing. Imagine, if you will, a sports car, right? When you think of a sports car, you think of the engine. The engine is obviously going to be a lot more powerful than the engine in a regular sedan. So the processor is the same thing. We give you 20-thread CPUs that boost up to 4.70 gigahertz. They can eat through anything you throw at them, right?
Yeah.
And if you need advanced graphics, we give you a dedicated graphics card on top of that in the Pro G model to help you with whatever you need to do. So if you're doing whatever creations, DJ, audio production, video production, photo, whatever it is, we've got you covered.
Yeah. And I have to say too, one of the struggles that I had is I've got to sort of wear a lot of different hats. I'm not just a home studio. I'm also a content creator. I'm editing videos. I'm using this thing for mobile guitar rigs, for taking it to church with me, for recording there at our local assembly. So there's like a whole, like I needed basically a Swiss Army knife of a laptop, and I've thrown everything I can at this thing, and it still is like, nope, you still haven't bogged me down yet. Keep trying, you know. The biggest thing for me was the 4K editing of video. I can't even do that on my desktop. And my desktop is pretty powerful. So, I mean, granted, it obviously does have its limitations, like any computer does. Like when I have a huge timeline full of a bunch of 4K video, it starts to lag down a little bit. But you would be very hard pressed to find anything on the market that's with like the highest specs you can get that's not going to start bogging down with some of that stuff. So by and large, though, at the price point that it's at, and after everything that I've thrown at it, dude, it's definitely, it's right up there. And yet again, too, like you said, you started this to try to help people. And, you know, the old saying of, you know, we're just a bunch of broke musicians. That's true to a certain extent, because a lot of musicians put their money into other things, other than, you know, the stock market and, you know, saving it in the bank. And a lot of us are like, ooh, a shiny new guitar, or, oh, there's a new keyboard. And so by having that ability to have these at that price point, we can actually fund our dreams and still have something that is going to get us to that next level that we need. So that's awesome. Looks like DJ Big Red 81 has a question. He says, the RAM that you're using, he says, can you ask Kagun for the RAM? Is he using DDR4 or is his upgraded to DDR5? That's a good question.
So the current models are using DDR4.
Okay.
We're using, I hate to say last gen tech, but you know, everyone wants to keep up with what's new. But you and I both know that newer doesn't always mean better, right?
Right.
That's why people spend so much money on vintage gear, because it has a particular character and sound that you just won't get with newer stuff. But going with previous gen has its advantages. It's going to be cheaper just because it's quote unquote previous gen, right? But it was perfect up until earlier this year, you know? So it's still good, it works. Now, here's the thing. DDR5 is great, but is it really worth the extra money? Just like some people might ask, you know, what about the 13th gen, which is something we can touch on a little later. But to answer your question, it is DDR4 for now. When we do upgrade, we will consider switching to DDR5. But for right now, DDR4 price per performance, that's what we were trying to achieve.
Absolutely. You know, and I've seen sort of a graph where they show, you know, there is a point of like diminishing returns, where you're throwing in X amount of dollars and getting just a very little bit of, and when you get to like the level, like it happens a lot with camera gear, especially too. And like when you get to that level where you're going to spend like $9,000 on a lens that has the exact same ISO, the exact same focal points, the exact, like everything is pretty much the same versus this lens, the cost to quality is like so negligible that it's almost not even worth it. It's almost at that point, it's just like bragging rights,
right?
Of saying that you own this.
Exactly.
So Crackly Software, who actually he's a software developer, plugin developer, VSTI instrument developer. He actually has a question. He says, which is better for music production, CPU speed or the number of cores?
CPU speed would be better for audio production. However, the number of cores is important because the more cores you have, the more you can spread that workload across. So if you have, let's say, a 5 gigahertz processor, but it only has 4 cores, then you're limited. If you're trying to put too much through it, you're limited to 4 cores. It's not going to handle it. So we wanted to find a compromise where we could give you the fastest single core speed with the most cores possible to basically handle any workload at the best cost, right? Everything is all about price per performance. That was the entire thing when we designed these. And the processor that we use was literally the best one. For the price that we could get them for what they can achieve, it's insane. And I think this would be the best time to dive into that processor. So as I mentioned before, some people ask, well, what about the 13th gen? Because right now Intel's using 13th gen. Well, earlier this year, 12th gen was still good. We're using the 12700H. That's our main processor. We do have other processors available if you request them, but the 12700H is our main. If you look at it on the CPU benchmark, it pretty much explains why we use it, right?
Right.
The only difference is, and I wrote a blog about this. So if you go to our website, you look under the resources tab, you'll find a blog that I wrote. It basically breaks down and explains everything about why we use the 12700H instead of the 13th gen and stuff like that. Price per performance is one reason, but there's also some interesting things you'll find in there. It really is all about, at the end of the day, like I said, giving you the absolute best bang for your buck possible. And I think we did a good job.
Awesome. Great answer. And Crackly, that was a great question actually too. So thank you for asking that.
Yes, thank you.
I apologize for my little bit of distraction there. My son was coming in, trying to ask me a question real quick. So yeah, guys, keep the questions coming because this is golden that he's able to actually answer these in real time. Let me just make sure that wasn't too awful important. I'll text him. It seems weird to be texting in the same house, but so
such is the world we live in today.
Right. One thing that I was wanting to ask is what key features do you believe are essential in a laptop for creative professionals? We've covered on a little bit of this, specifically though, and how does your wholesale selection sort of cater to those needs?
So as we said before, single core performance as well as core count. These are both very important for audio production. And that's the reason why we chose the processor that we did, because you're getting the best of both worlds. 20 threads that boost up to 4.70 gigahertz at that price point. You can't find anything better. Awesome. And I know because I've looked, right? So we're able to give you decent RAM. We ship with 3200 DDR4. You can have up to 64 gigs. And another thing that was important is I noticed a lot of these companies were taking away the options for the user to upgrade your devices. That was something that it always frustrated me because I build computers and I want the option to do what I want. You can buy our devices bare bones with no RAM, no SSD, and you can put your own in. If you already have RAM and SSD that supports it, buy the bare bones, put in what you want, or buy the lowest model with 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage and upgrade it yourself. It'll support up to 64 gigs of RAM. And our 16s come with 2 NVMe slots. You can put in maybe 2 8 terabyte SSDs in there and have 16 terabytes of storage if you want,
Wow.
So the whole thing is I wanted to give people the options that I would want for myself as a creator. And luckily I was able to do this.
That's awesome. Can you share maybe some success stories or testimonials from other creative professionals other than me that have purchased your laptops through you?
I don't have their words in front of me, but I
Right.
can tell you that some other people besides you that have our laptops, like 𝗧𝗵𝗲 𝗛𝗦, he did a video recently. Kristen Kohler from the Audio Cult, he has one. Laurie from the Tech Notice, he has one on the way. So we'll be looking out for his video. And the guys at Cyberslide have, and everyone's just giving good feedback on the laptops. Everyone loves them. You know?
That's awesome.
And people who aren't maybe as well known have been writing in, giving great comments. Some people have written reviews, and I've put them on the website. You know, every time someone's willing to give a review, I'll put it on the website. You know, so I wish I had more to give you, but you know, we're a fairly new company.
I think it does good though for especially people here that are frequenters of this channel to hear people like you know, the Cole Audio Cult have jumped on board, and some other notable names that you've mentioned there, just simply because I think I almost kind of like knew it was going to happen when I shared the video, because I thought people are going to think this is too good to be true. And in a world that we live in nowadays, it honestly, it seems like what's the new app, the Temu app, where it's like, you can buy pretty much anything for like $2.99. And then there's all these people that are like rushing out to get this stuff. And they're like, hey, I got ripped off. And I'm like, well, imagine that. I mean,
right.
So whenever you see something like this, immediately, like, people are very skeptical these days. So it's awesome to hear at least there's some more clout. And with you being a relatively newer company, I feel like that's only going to get better over time. So, sort of another question I think we could spin off of this would be, in a rapidly evolving tech market, because I mean, it's like every single day, it's something else is happening, something else is coming out. We just mentioned it earlier with the RAM. How do you ensure that your laptops stay ahead in terms of performance and innovation for the creative applications as well?
Well, as technology evolves, we will evolve with it. Now, there may come a time when we do catch up to what's current, but we're going to try to stay, and I hate to say this, one step behind, but we're not actually behind. Because again, if you look at the blog where I talk about the difference between the 12th gen and the 13th gen, you'll be surprised to see that the 13th gen really isn't better. They just claim that it is. I mean, you're looking at 30 megahertz top speed difference, but the 12th gen has higher L1 and L2 cache. So what are you really paying all that money for, right? Look at the blog. You know, go to creativedevices.com. Under the resources tab, you'll find the blog. You'll see for yourself. We will always try to stay within reason of what is needed price per performance. We don't have to give you the latest and greatest, because as we mentioned before, newer isn't always better. So if it's not better, then why pay for it? You know, why pay more for less? It just doesn't make any sense. But we will continue to grow. If something comes up that, you know, we realize this is necessary, then we're going to go with this. But we're always going to try to make sure that we can give the best price per performance, because we're not here to just get your money. Otherwise, we would charge what everyone else is charging, right? And the only way we're able to do this is by carefully selecting what we choose and by keeping our profit margins low. We don't have the same overhead as, you know, some big name companies do with all these factories and employees, and not to mention we're not as greedy. We don't really need to charge literally hundreds, or in some cases thousands of dollars extra for one device. It's ridiculous. It really is. You know, like your laptop, for example, right? Think about your specs. If you price that, it's easily $3,000, you know, if not more. You're getting it for half the price, maybe even, you know, more than half the price. So that's how much extra these companies are making off of you when you buy their devices. We're not here to do that. We're here to supply you with what you need to get your job done at the best price. Because I remember when I couldn't afford a computer to do something, you know, and I want to help make sure that no one has to go through that. And that's why we created this. Now, literally anyone can afford a creative level device that's powerful enough to fulfill their creative needs.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Much apologies to those who are commenting in the comment section. You're saying that there's actually commercials that are popping up in the middle of the ad. That's something that YouTube is doing. That's not something that I'm personally doing. So my apologies for that. You can always come back and rewatch the section maybe that you missed. Maybe write down right now a timestamp if you need to come back and make sure that you can cover the full entirety of the question there, or the answer rather. So yeah, a lot of good points that you're bringing up there. And I'm not, like me personally, I'm not so upset about the fact that you're, like you said, kind of staying behind the curve. And I think most of the people that follow my channel that are audio lovers or audio engineers or even hobbyists, we all kind of have a tendency to kind of hang back anyway, because we know we've been burned way too many times. When newer technology comes out, a newer OS comes out, a newer whatever it is comes out, 9 times out of 10, it's just more headaches than anything. You've got incompatibility issues. You've got, with OSs, sometimes you lose complete ability to even use plugins or to use your main program that you use. This happens a lot with Mac users, where like it literally just happened when I think it was the M2 chip. When they went to the M2 chip, a lot of the Waves plugins would not work at all. There were people commenting, trying to email me like, hey, what's going on here? And I'm like, I'm not a Mac user. Don't know. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you've kind of covered this a little bit too, but I want to throw this out there because I think a lot of people, maybe if you're on the fence and you're wondering, yeah, it's affordable, it's this, it's that, but also the options that he has, it's like I've already said on the video before, but just to reiterate, it's very customizable. So are there specific software or hardware customization options available for creative customers who may have unique requirements for their work?
So as I said before, we do offer more than just the 12700H. We don't advertise them because personally, I don't think it's worth the money. For example, your laptop, right? If you wanted a 12900H, we could get you one, but it's hundreds of dollars more. And for 30 megahertz, I mean, I don't really think it's worth it. Now, again, 30 megahertz across 20 cores, 20 threads, I'm sorry. You'll notice a difference, but I don't think it's worth hundreds of dollars, because now we're starting at over $1,000 for the laptop alone. You can also get a 3070. I don't think it's worth it, because with the 3070, it does require a bit more power. And because we're using a laptop, you want to be conscious of how much power you're putting in, because power equals heat. Adding more power to a 3060 will give you a better deal as far as performance is concerned. So that's why we go with that. But if you do really want one and you don't mind spending the money, you can have it.
Awesome. And one thing I would like to point out too, and I pointed it out yet again in the video, but to reiterate again, when I received my laptop, I was blown away with the fact that there was not a Best Buy app, a Norton antivirus app. It's like you get stuff from like the big box stores and you have sometimes 5, 6, even more bloatware apps that you didn't even want. And then you got to go back through and like months later, these things are popping up going, hey, make sure you renew your subscription or make sure you buy me. And when I opened this one up, it was literally like a clean desktop. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. But for those of you who are wondering too, though, like if there's specific programs that you want preloaded on there, what are some programs that you have to offer?
Well, like anywhere else, we won't offer you specific programs. If you have a request and I guess you'd have to come to me directly for that. So if you message us on social media or message on the website in one of the comment links, if I have something that I can gift to you, I wouldn't mind doing it. But the company itself, from the factory, you won't have anything except Windows. And we do that intentionally because we want you to have the most pure experience of Windows, right? The only thing you're going to have to do once you get that laptop is maybe update everything, update all your, update your Windows, update all your drivers to the latest one. And that's it. Just run your machine. If you're doing audio or video, optimize it. You can find out how to optimize Windows online. Optimize it to your, heart's content, and it will work. That's the whole thing. Because not everyone needs the Microsoft Office suite. So if you don't need it, you don't have it, right? If you want it, then you can install it. You might not need Adobe. If you want it, you can install it. And if you're doing any type of creative stuff, you don't want an antivirus program running in the background, hogging up your background resources, because it's going to kill you. It's going to create latency. Latency is something that you don't want as a creator. So the first device that we created was the 𝗵𝗲 𝗛𝗦, the silver one. It doesn't have a dedicated GPU because sometimes those things do create latency, and we didn't want that. This was designed for audio because we do audio. But obviously, the people that do video need a dedicated GPU. So we got this 3060. That's what we used, an RTX 3060 GPU. And we made sure we set it up in a way where it's not creating any interference. Now, the only issue that you might have is the driver that Microsoft installs, which is why I recommend to people, once you update everything, download the studio driver. If you're doing like what you're doing, right? If you're not gaming, download the studio driver. Remove the old driver and install the studio driver, and it will work flawlessly for you. That you won't have any issues. You can do audio, video, everything without latency problems. Everything will be great. I honestly am surprised, like pleasantly surprised at how we've been able to, make all of this happen in such a short amount of time. And using these devices myself, it puts a smile on my face to know that we have these now. And I'm thinking back years ago, thinking, man, I wish we had stuff like this. When I started out, this would be great. This technology has advanced so far, and I'm just happy that we're able to use it to help people, because that's not always the case, as we know.
Absolutely. So what about, let's say there's businesses that maybe they want to take advantage of these price points and the power that you get. Do you offer anything in like lieu of bulk buying?
So yes, we with our suppliers, if you order a certain amount, the more you order, we can give you a little bit of a discount on them, right? So for example, I had a meeting just yesterday actually with the Department of Education, and they wanted to take a look at these laptops. Someone liked it. They said, okay, well, we'll get 2 of them. We'll test them out. And if they work like we know they're going to work, then we'll start with, maybe 35 for one class and then another for, stuff like that. We can definitely do it. Here's the thing. Our suppliers supply the other companies. So we're not just sitting in the basement making these ourselves. We have serious suppliers. So whatever you need, we can get you.
Awesome. Can you elaborate a little bit then on any warranty or support services that are provided with your laptops? Sure.
So all of our devices come with a 1-year factory warranty. Now, this is for any factory related defects. If you receive your device and something is wrong, it shouldn't be wrong, send it back to the factory, they'll fix it. No problem. We also have a 30-day money back guarantee. If you're unhappy with it for 30 days, same thing, send it back. As long as when they receive it, it's in the same condition it was when it was sent out, no problem.
Awesome.
We also have an accidental damage protection plan. Now, this is important. A lot of people don't understand this. Most companies will give you like $200 to $150 a year, for, let's say, 4 years, right? So let's start on the low end, $150 a year for 4 years, $600. Okay. Now let's say, 4 years goes by, nothing happens to your device, and you upgrade to a new one. no problem. You bought your device for however much you paid for it, plus the additional. You're not getting that back. Now, if something does happen, yeah, they give you a replacement, no problem. But what if you take care of your devices and you don't, you're ending up spending all this money every year? We figured there has to be a better way to do this. So we came up with this. Because we have our bare bones systems, it just makes sense to charge you $200 one time for the laptops, $100 for the displays. I'll explain this. Let's say you have your device, right? Notebook Pro G. If you max it out, it's, what is it, $1,150, $1,200, something like that?
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
So let's just say, let's go on the high end and say $1,200. You spend $1,200 on this thing. You spend an additional $200 for the life of that device, right? Anything goes wrong with it, we're going to give you a bare bones replacement for half of the price. Now, the bare bones price is $799. So half of $799 is $399. Now, if you think about this, if you were to break the display or get water damage and you have to replace the main board, the display itself is going to be more than $400.
Yeah.
The main board itself is going to be more than $400. Not to mention how much it's going to cost for someone to fix and replace it. So now, for that $399, we'll give you a complete replacement device. And if you had a custom logo, we'll even put the custom logo back on it for you for free.
Nice.
For the life of your device. No one else is offering that.
No,
just like no one else is offering custom logos, right? That's another thing that I said, why is no one doing this? How awesome would that be? Because, most companies, they plaster their logo all over the device. But what if I want my logo on it, or my name or whatever? Or if I just want it blank, so.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised myself too when it showed up, and it was, not only was it like immaculate looking, just really classy. Every time I pull it out of my bag and I open it up, everybody's like, what? How did you get your logo on there? And then they're like rubbing on it. Like, is it a sticker? I'm like, no, that's laser etched. Like, that's not going anywhere. So, and it just, to me, if you want an element of professionalism, when I pull that thing out, I mean, it looks lean and mean already, but then when I open up the lid and they see my logo on there, they're like, this guy means business. So, and even if they do have to pay for it initially, it's only like what, $50?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like next to nothing. And for what it looks like, it's well worth the $50 spent. So thank you for touching on the bulk buyouts and as well as the warranty information, because I think that's going to help a lot of individuals who maybe have audio schools and stuff like that. And I know our personal school here, Sandy Creek Christian Academy, they've already been looking at getting some new laptops like all the way around for the whole school. So I might be hitting you up later about that.
Yeah.
Crackly Software had a question here, and you were just talking about displays. It reminded me about this. He says, what would you suggest is the best ratio of screen size to resolution in a laptop?
I really believe that comes down to preference, because what I would use it for is completely different from what you or someone else would use it for. So I think when you're looking at smaller displays, 4K is a little overkill, because you're never really going to take full advantage of that resolution on a small display, which is why on your laptop, we offer a 2K plus display, right? I think it's the sweet spot. It's right in the middle. So instead of 16:9, we use 16:10 screens. You have a little bit more to see. It's a little taller, right? I don't think you should go higher than that on, that size, because if you ever try to make it 100%, you see how small everything gets. You have to make it big anyway. It's kind of pointless. On a bigger display, obviously, yes, but yeah, I don't think it. But we do have a 4K display for people who want it. If you do a lot of zooming in and fine detail stuff, we have a 4K display for you. And we have a 2K plus with 10-finger touch,
Awesome.
And they're 100% color accurate, if that's important for you.
Yeah, that's awesome too. So, and I was talking with him previously about this too. I'd like to see if I can actually use my Elgato Cam link and plug that into one of those displays and see if I could. That's
well, you let me know which one you want.
It's got me interested. So, another question, this isn't so much of a big deal, in the grand scheme of like creating audio or anything, but for individuals like myself who are wanting to maintain a smaller, footprint, so to speak, given the environmental concerns associated with electronic waste, what sustainability initiatives or practices does your business model implement?
Well, one, instead of using desktops that suck up more power, we're using laptops. And this is something that I thought about as well. As I said before, having your setup, the same setup you would at home with your 2 displays or maybe even 3, you can just pack it all in one bag, take it anywhere in the world with you, put it on a desk the same way and have your exact same setup. You can't beat that. It's in a smaller footprint. It uses much less power. And, because we're not jumping on whatever's the newest thing, all in all, I think the practices that we're doing help make a difference.
Absolutely. Great answer.
Thank you.
So how do you stay informed about the latest trends and advancements in creative software and hardware to ensure that your laptops remain compatible and optimized with the newest trends? So are you is there specific websites you're kind of keeping an eye on? Is there how are you staying up to date on everything?
Well, like I said, I've been in tech for a little while, and it's just a hobby of mine. I like it. I enjoy it. So I'm always up on the latest thing. Oh, this new thing is coming out. What's so special about it? I want to know. I'm reading. I get emails and, stuff like that. I check up on all the new latest stuff. And if it's worth it, then I'll look into it a little more. But usually newer just means expensive. It doesn't always mean better. But I'm always checking to see what's worth it. Constantly checking to see what's worth it.
So great question here from DJ Big Red 81. I completely spaced that one. He says, do you ship all over Canada, UK, etc., or is it strictly US?
So we ship internationally.
Nice.
And it's free shipping. A lot of people don't understand this.
Bring in the crowd cheers.
If you go to our website, you will see we do free shipping. Now, a lot of people don't understand how we do this. We wanted to make sure that what you're getting for the price, everything is included. Obviously, we have nothing to do with tax. The government's going to take their piece.
Right.
But everything is included. So the only thing you're paying extra at checkout is taxes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So there's a great answer to your question, DJ. So sort of a wrap-up question, at least for what I have, and then we'll take some more maybe rapid-fire questions here from the audience. So collaboration is obviously it's crucial for many creative projects. Do your products facilitate connectivity and collaboration features? Is there any incompatibility issues with external devices or cloud services or anything like that? Or does it work pretty much plug and play? Have you noticed anything or heard anything about that?
I haven't experienced anything, and I haven't heard anything from anyone. We use all the major standard ports, which are universal serial bus from type A to type C, RJ45 Ethernet, 3.5mm combo jacks, or separate headphone and microphone. Anything you want, it should be compatible with our devices. These are something that we wanted to make sure of. One question that people have asked is, does it support Thunderbolt? And because it's Intel based, we wanted to make sure that it can support Thunderbolt, but we did not go with Thunderbolt for price reasons. Everything, not everything, but almost everything that is Thunderbolt has a USB variant, as well as there are Thunderbolt to USB connectors. So if you really wanted to, you can connect your device. It just didn't seem worth charging extra for Thunderbolt, you know, when you can still connect it anyway. Again, it's all about price per performance. We wanted to make sure we could give you the best price possible.
Absolutely. Now, another question too, this one just kind of came to my mind. So a lot of individuals like myself and most home studio individuals, we're going to be using external sound cards. However, are the sound cards that's built into the laptops, if we had to go directly into the laptop, would those be, what kind of fidelity are we looking at with those?
So they're nothing extraordinary, but they're not crap either, if that makes any sense. You're looking at something pretty decent. If you're just doing what we're doing now, like right now, I'm going through normal audio. There's nothing spectacular about the audio that is being presented, but you can hear me pretty clearly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what you're going to get. I wish I could say we were giving you extra, but again, because we're going to be using external interfaces, why pay more money to have something else installed?
Right.
When you're going to use something higher anyway, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So just going to open it up really quickly for any more last minute questions that you guys might have. We're going to be mindful of both his time and mine, and we're going to make sure that we get some more questions in here. But I just want to, while we're waiting on some of these to stream in here, I just want to personally thank you for taking the time out of your day to come on here and answer some of these questions. Now I've got sort of a point where I can, a reference point when people ask about the laptop, I can send them to this live interview and should hopefully get all of their questions answered. In fact, I think what I might do is I might even go back to that previous video and check the comment section. And while we're waiting for some other comments to come in, just to see if maybe there's a couple on here I could answer now, or at least you could answer now. I mean,
okay. Well, thank you for having me as well. I appreciate it. And maybe put the video down below for those who haven't seen it yet.
Absolutely.
He did a fantastic job as usual. Robert's the man. Check out the video.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You know, honestly, I wish I had more time. That seems like here lately, it's just been a struggle to find time, but I wish I would have had even more time to put more effort into it, because there's so much I probably still could have done. But I feel like you guys are going to be seeing a lot of this laptop on the channel. Maybe not front and center all of the time, but behind the scenes, it's definitely going to be used a lot. I did post a link in the chat right now to the previous video that we keep referencing to, which is basically my mobile guitar rig that has been working phenomenally, by the way. I've got so many people that's like, dude, that sounds amazing. And I'm like, and it's on a laptop with a Tonex pedal. So, and they're like, what? Yeah. So here's some of the questions that came in. Mainly, most of them are definitely interested, want to see more about the laptop. Like, people are like, we love the guitar pedal, it's great, but what about that laptop? Creative Devices has just made home recording and live setup so simple and great sounding. Awesome video. Would love to see more about the laptop. So they're not really any specific questions. They're just like, tell us more about that.
About the laptop. That's good.
Great video and detailed. So I think what I'll do is I'll take the live, our live interview, and I'll actually post it as a pinned comment on this video too, and kind of sort of create like a loop to where when they're asking these questions, I'll go, well, check out the pinned comment. And then, oh, and right here, look, somebody named Creative Devices actually commented, we offer free international shipping. Nice. Nice. Okay. So I'll have to remember to do that later. So DJ, I know he's always on top of me all the time. Like, hey, you didn't do this. You need to do this. You need to do that. Make sure that I get that link on that video before too awful long. How many SSDs can you fit in the laptop? This is a question from Micah Cattergum.
Well, we have 2 NVMe slots. So as I mentioned before, you can put in I think 8 terabytes is the highest I've seen so far. You can put 2 of those in and have a total of 16 terabytes of storage.
Awesome. Mark Anthony says, I'm looking for a new computer. What is the lower costing, higher performance that I should get?
Well, our base model would probably be the 16-inch Notebook Pro. It starts at $599 for the bare bones kit. If you want 16 gigs of RAM and half a terabyte of storage, it's going to cost you $699.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mind blown. Like, prices like this are just not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another question I had was, and this wasn't from me, this was from an individual. There's like one comment. I remember it was like a rogue comment out of all the other comments that was like, I own it. It's awesome. I want one. It's awesome. There was one comment about the fans. Some individuals said that the fans were really loud. Now, I've had a couple of times where I've fired mine up, and when I first open it, it seems like the fans will kick on for a minute. But then once the fans are done doing their thing, which is basically like initializing, I've not noticed them being any louder than any other laptop. Can you speak maybe to that fan issue?
Sure.
Is that?
Yeah. So especially with your model, the Pro G, when you're cooling something like that 20-thread CPU and an RTX graphics card, you need powerful fans, which is what we went with. We wanted powerful fans to keep these things cool. Now, in a laptop, you only have so much space, so you have to decide, do you want to favor quiet or performance? We created these things for creative uses. So performance is key. Performance is important. The last laptop I had that was quiet, it was cool. Well, not physically. It was hot to the touch.
Right.
You know, it was quiet, but it was hot all the time. And it worked. I kept it on a cooling pad. Sometimes I forgot, and it worked until eventually things started to burn out. And then I had to replace this. And after that, I said, you know what? If I can't hear the fans, I can't trust it.
Yeah.
When you don't have, sufficient cooling power for something like this, you're going to introduce thermal throttling. Your performance is going to start degrading. What's the point? Honestly, at that, what is the point? And you have to look at it this way. If you're doing audio and you're playing music through headphones or speakers, you're not going to hear fans. If you're in a quiet room, yes, you're going to hear fans. But you have to think, what's more important? Do you want your system to perform where you can hear the fans and know that they're working? Or do you want it to be quiet and your performance is degrading because it has to do thermal throttling to, give you a silent environment? Most of us don't really work in silent environments anyway.
Right. Right. And, with proper mic placement and, honestly, just normal everyday recordings, you're not really going to pick up on a lot of the fan noise. Like I've seen this over the years. I've seen threads upon threads on, popular forums and stuff where people are like, how in the world do I keep these fans from being so loud? Well, for one, you've probably got your gain turned up way too high where you're picking up the noise floor like crazy, and you don't need to record over. You really, honestly, you don't even need to go over nowadays negative 12 dBs to get a good clean recording. Used to, they would crank up that input because they had to. That's what they had to do. You don't have to do that anymore. We have high fidelity. We have, really high headrooms. So when it comes to, the fan noises themselves, honestly, it's negligible. Whenever you put that into the context of the mix, even if you do hear a fan in the recording in solo, I guarantee you put that in context of the mix. If nothing else, it's probably going to add to the mix than it would take away. Let me see here.
Well, right now that you mentioned fans, I'm using 14-inch prototype, and it's sitting on top of a cooling pad. And this cooling pad that I'm using, it's a pretty beefy one. So you might be able to hear the fans from this cooling pad running. And I wasn't even paying attention to it because I was so used to the sound until you mentioned the fans. And now I'm thinking, wait, I can hear the cooling pad spinning, you know, as we're talking. So I don't know if anyone else can pick that up, but
no,
I know it's working.
Yeah, I don't hear it on my end.
That's it. There you go.
So, but it's one of those things where I think a lot of times, especially with beginner audio engineers, people that are wanting to record themselves and stuff like that, I think sometimes we begin to stress over the minutia, and we're a lot of time. And just to be honest with you guys, like this is coming straight out of honesty. A lot of times we will get into the weeds of things like fan noises and mic preamps and sample rates and bit depths. And we start getting so focused on this because it's easier to focus on that and go, oh, that's why this recording doesn't sound good. It's because of this, this, and this, and this. When in actuality, it might be, maybe I just need to put new strings on my guitar, or maybe I need to practice more. Yeah, I said that. Or maybe, you know, I'm not the greatest vocalist right now. Maybe I need to go and practice my vocals some more, get a vocal coach. And a lot of times, like the thing that we think that it is not what it is. And it's easier though for companies, especially. And we see this all the time where companies will come out and they'll say, we've got the thing that's going to make you sound like this person. All you got to do is buy our product, buy our microphone, and you're going to sound, and they give you all of these sound examples from professional studios with professional musicians and professional engineers. Yes, it's going to sound amazing. You could give that person a $25 microphone and put them in an untreated room, and they're probably still going to churn out something that sounds a lot better than what you might be doing with limited experience. So kind of going off on a rant there, but that's what we do around here. So just to let you guys know, like if you're going to put money into anything that's going to get you leaps and bounds ahead of where you're at now, you need to look at your core setup, and a laptop in this case that we're talking about, that's your core setup. If you've got a good solid laptop, the rest of it is kind of negligible. The fan noises, the bit rates and all this stuff. Yes, you need to worry about that stuff, but it's not the end of the world. Like some of the greatest recordings, go back and listen to some Beatles albums. You hear people laughing in the background. You hear people tripping over amplifiers on some of the Stevie Ray Vaughan records. You hear, like, you can't get caught up in that stuff. You just got to be creative, make good music, have fun doing it, because that's what comes across more than anything. So rant over. Sorry.
I completely agree. You know, and at the end of the day, it's only fan noise. You know, I personally am happy to know that it's working. It's keeping it cool enough to make sure it will perform the way I need it to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not even that loud. If I'm honest, I've heard a lot more expensive machines with way louder fans.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. We have a rack in the corner. Of course, it's not mic'd. It's not in an area that actually has a lot of hot mics, but we have a rack in the corner there at church that's got, I think, 6 or 7 power amps and like 3 or 4 wireless. That thing sounds like a Boeing B-17 bomber when it's in full speed, you know. But I've never heard one person in the entire congregation go, man, I could hear them fans up there, you know. Awesome. So it looks like we have covered, generally speaking, all of the questions. If I've missed one, I apologize, guys. I was trying to keep an eye on the chat and keep an eye on my guest here today. But once again, thank you so much, Kagun, for showing up and for just being awesome and for selling some awesome gear for creatives and having those creatives in mind. If anybody should want to reach out to you, obviously they can go to your website. Are you on any socials that you would like to plug as well?
We are on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Awesome.
We don't do as much posting as, you know, some other people will, but we try to put something out every day.
Awesome. And remember, that's Kreative Devices spelled with a K.
Yes.
So DJ's been doing an awesome job as usual here in the chat, making sure that All of the applicable links have been posted. So thank you so much for that as well, DJ.
Thank you, DJ.
But yeah, until next time, guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to hit me up. Feel free to, there's a contact me section on his website.
Yes.
You can always ask questions that way. Hit him up on Instagram. He's very quick to get back to you with any questions you might have. There was a few that I had as well. DJ's reminded me, don't forget to include that link.
DJ's awesome.
Yeah, he is. And then Micah says, nice. Okay, good deal. So yeah, thank you so much for showing up, for showing out, for helping out. Looking forward to where this company is going to go in the near future. And I will go ahead and after this is all said and done, I will post that link, but then I'll email you which one of those screens I think might work best for me, and maybe do like a follow-up review on that as well. So
sounds good.
Awesome.
And thank you again for having me on your channel. Like I said, you know, I've been a fan of yours for quite some time. I appreciate all you've done for the Cakewalk community. I too have been a Cakewalk user since version 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So all the more reason to like Kagun, guys. I mean, he's a Cakewalk user. DJ, get out of the chat with all of your Studio One stuff. I don't even want to hear it. He's defected. We have a rogue. Yeah, he's posted the contact us link there as well. So Kagun, yeah. Until next time, brother, you have a good day, and thanks for hopping on.
Thank you. You too, Rob.
Awesome.
Take it easy, bro. Bye, everyone.
All right. So hopefully that'll help to answer any of the questions that you guys might have had concerning the laptops. Really, I mean, I think he knocked it out of the park with every single question that we had. If you have any more, like I said, leave them in the comment section down below, or you can use the contact us section there on his website. I think we've covered about everything that we can today, and I'm going to go ahead and hop off here and spend some time with the family. Still not sure why my son was coming in here. I think he had a serious question to ask. I'm not sure. But until next time, guys, remember that we've got to spin the wheel of awesomeness. So that's right. We can't end this one until we spin the wheel. Yeah. Okay, so 𝗧𝗵𝗲 𝗧𝗵𝗲 is getting more... I don't know what's wrong with this guy. Like, he's getting weirder every time we talk. I don't know how he gets on and off the microphone so fast, too. Isn't that crazy? It's like as soon as he, like, hops on the mic, he's gone. It's weird. He's already halfway across the studio right now with a cup of coffee in his hand. That's what it is. Oh my, he's drinking straight espresso right now. He's just knocking him back. Hey, Casey, you need... Casey. Okay, he just ran through the wall. Dude literally just ran through a brick wall. Oh my goodness. You know... I don't know why you guys put up with me. You know what? We try to have some fun around here, though. Why not? The world is way too serious sometimes to not have a little bit of fun. Anyway, let's spin this wheel now that I finally got it pulled up. And what's it going to land on? I'll have Casey come back over here and announce what it is. Casey, come on back over. Well, yeah, you're going to have to fix that wall later. Come over here and... This is 𝗧𝗵𝗲 𝗧𝗵𝗲 just ran through a wall. That's right. Today on the Wheel of Awesomeness, it's the song feature. If you have a song you'd like featured, we're going to make sure you can. Every month, there's a monthly song contest. Feature your song there and leave me alone. Really? Casey, what are you... No, the song feature is separate from the song contest. So that means you just effectively lied to everybody. You're making me look bad, Casey. Robert, you're 41 and you look old, with a shiny face and gray hair. You already look bad. All right, you know what? Get out of here. I don't have to put up with this. All right, guys, I sincerely apologize about this. Casey's, he's on a roll today or something. I don't know. If you would like to get a song featured in on the channel rather than in the channel, use capital HSS to enter now. You have the next 3 minutes for a song feature here on the channel. Now you might be thinking, much like Casey just brought up, which by the way, thank you, Casey, for putting a hole in the wall and also for announcing what you have announced, that people can, every month, you can have a song featured because there is a monthly song contest. If you did not know about that, kind of a weird way for you to find out about it. But you can have your song featured on the channel then. We go through every month. At the beginning of the month, restarts the submissions. You can begin submitting your songs up until the last week of the month. At the last week of the month, we all sit down and have a listen together. And we'll go through all the songs, listen to them, and then I will choose a winner. Used to, the winner would get a free mix and master. I no longer have time for that. I'm sorry. And it's just not feasible anyway with all of the time that I put into it, with it being, you know, an unpaid gig, so to speak. So the best thing that we can do is what we'll do is we will choose a winner. And then what I will do is I will single one song out and say, okay, this is the song that I feel like wins. And that winner will then get sort of like a mixed critique, like a personal mixed critique from me on what I would do to make the song sound better. Now, granted, we're doing this as we go through the songs. Sometimes we have to move a little bit faster than others. So this gives us a little bit more time to specifically dedicate to your song and to help you out. And it's not always like just even in the song. Sometimes it's the production, the arrangement. Sometimes it's, I would definitely add something here or add something there. So it really just is kind of like a bird's eye view on the monthly song contest. But then whenever you're chosen as a winner, we sort of get the microscope out and we dig a little bit deeper. It's basically just an extra service that we can try to provide. We do have an August winner. I have not announced the winner yet because I have yet to make up a slide for that. I'm not going to announce it on the live stream though. I'm going to actually wait. So either follow us on Facebook, Discord. All of those links are on the YouTube channel. And I will be posting it for sure on the YouTube community tab. If you have not checked out the community tab on YouTube, you go to the channel, you click over to community, and there's a lot of different like polls you can vote on, different things that we have some fun there. You're right. That would be September. Sorry. No? Yeah. It would be September. Sorry. You're right. See, you got me confused because I got myself confused and then everybody got confused. We can no longer enter because there's been a winner. All right. So let's figure out who the winner is. And let me open this up a little bit larger so I can actually choose a winner. It's not letting me pick a winner. Oh, there it is. The winner is, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Big Red 81. So the September song selection, yeah, you're right. It has not been, as of right now, announced who the winner was. I have the winner in mind. I know who it is, and you'll never know. But no, you will know actually here shortly. The winner is Robert. Take that, guys. No, just kidding. But yeah, thank you all so much for showing up today. I hope that this interview with Kagun helped you to understand and to know that these laptops are an excellent buy. They're a great deal. And I didn't have him on or make the video just simply because he sent me a sample. Once I realized the price point and once I realized everything that was involved, I had to share this with you guys because almost everyone is always asking about what kind of computer should I be using? What kind of laptop should I be using? So it's just a great fit for everyone all around. Give the song contest or give the song feature to Crackly Software. Absolutely. So congratulations, Crackly Software. Uh-oh. I just gave the secret identity of 𝗧cie què𝗁𝗵𝗀. Either that or I'm just really good at impersonating him because he's over here, right, Casey? Oh no, I've said too much. Anywho, thank you guys so much for showing up today. I love each and every one of you. And until next time, remember that we can dream alone, we can even create alone, but together we can achieve so much more. God bless y'all.